Hi everyone, I am Rajat, the Chief Evangelist at Nature and Thought. Nature and Thought is a brand with deep rooted expertise in healthcare since 1985, and we develop clinically validated, safe, and natural products for your health. We are celebrating women in science and women and girls in science. And I'm thrilled to have with us today Soumi Dey Sarkar, who's a scientist and a fitness enthusiast, all rolled into a single human being. She's a biomedical engineer from IIT with a PhD in skin tissue engineering. She's been a power lifter at a national level and has won silver for Maharashtra in 2020. She's worked with cosmetic giants like L'Oreal, Himalaya, Kama Ayurveda, and now leads R&D for the premium beauty business for Unilever. She is originally from Calcutta but has lived in a number of cities. And Somi is a dog mother to two furry babies and has a passion for a craft which is her superpower, and I'm sure is going to be very evident in our conversation. So let me invite her on screen.
Hello, Rajat.
Hey there, Somi. So good to
Hello,
have
hello,
you.
hello. Same here. It's very exciting to see you here.
Yeah, no, so Swami,
Yeah,
today
yeah,
we are talking about the goal with doing these conversations is really to inspire the next generation of women and girls in science. And I'm so grateful for your time today to have this conversation with us.
absolutely my pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about what do you do currently? What's your day-to-day kind of work look like?
It's a lot of work, honestly. I have just moved into a new company, and I'm leading R&D for a division, and it's definitely a lot of settling in. I have moved back to Mumbai after 3 years in Delhi, and so yeah, I mean, it's a lot of new stuff happening that requires a lot of work. At the same time, it's very exciting. Uh, I've been a huge fitness enthusiast all over my life, and now I have picked up a new sport. I have just discovered my newly found love for running, so that's also happening pretty much in parallel. So yeah, a lot of new stuff, and it's an exciting journey ahead. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's amazing. Best of luck to
Yeah,
you in your new profile, and best of luck being in
yeah,
Mumbai from Delhi. I've been born and brought up in Mumbai, so it's my favorite
yeah.
city in the world. So good to have you
Pretty
back.
much mine as
Uh,
well. Yeah,
yeah, fantastic,
yeah.
awesome. Tell me, when is it that you decided? At what age did it come to you, or was it always set for you as a path? To pick up a career in science.
Uh, I don't know when it really occurred, but I always wanted to be a doctor, and I don't remember from what time I have been dreaming to be a doctor, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And I mean, I've been quite a good kid in terms of doing things sincerely, doing my studies very sincerely, taking up sport, all of the things that the traditional parents label as good kids. And yeah, I mean, I've been pretty sincere about all of these right from childhood. Always thought that, I'll be able to crack up the medical entrance exam. But unfortunately, probably that's the only space in my academic career which I could not crack in spite of multiple attempts, multiple exams, etc. Probably there was something behind all of that, and maybe, there was something else that I was meant to do, probably let's just look at the brighter picture is what I say myself today. So yeah, I mean, I think that's where I picked up my passion for science from. Over and above, I was always very inquisitive. I always wanted to analyze and understand what's happening behind the scenes, and I think that's where it kind of stemmed from. But yeah, I'm a Bengali, being from a Bengali household where arts and culture is given so much of importance, and we practice it, so much on a passionate level on a day-to-day basis. Uh, so yeah, I mean, arts, culture, everything probably has a very soft spot in my heart. But irrespective of that, science, sports, all of these things always have got a slightly edge over.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know I struggle with this. Like, if I was given a choice, I would sit with my books, with my computer all day long. How do you really are able to prioritize, something like picking up running now, after so many
Yeah.
years? How does that work for you? How do you prioritize between these things?
So when it comes to sports and fitness related stuffs, I think that has been a part of me for quite some time now, especially with my powerlifting journey. The way I have always kind of tried to get indulged into a sport, so all of that has been quite a part of me till now, and science is something that I love. So when I'm doing both of them together, sometimes it doesn't feel like a lot of work because I really do them from a place of love, and I sincerely enjoy doing it. So it comes from somewhere in the heart, so it doesn't feel like a lot of work. But saying that, yes. Especially this, I'm relating to the point of time when I was doing powerlifting at a competitive level. Uh, Discipline is probably the name of the game, and you just need to be disciplined day in, day out. Do make a lot of sacrifices, which eventually, if you're doing it again from a place of love, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It just comes out as your natural choice. And the same things have happened with me. I mean, I do prioritize these two things over everything else in my life. That makes me pretty much unsocial at certain points of time. But yeah, I do have a very limited set of friends. I'm not very like extroverted when it comes to, pursuing other kinds of activities. Uh, so yeah, I think all those kind of things really help, you know, to really have a path that you want to pursue. I've lost a lot of friends in the path, and because I could not prioritize them, because I could not provide sufficient time. But yeah, that's okay. That's I think that also gives you a filter of who's with you and who's not. So it's a great tool to kind of have be in the right path. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I was one of the people around you. At least I know you would definitely motivate me a lot more to move things in the right direction. So no, that's amazing, Somi. And tell me, Somi, like, how did this whole, like, I'm honestly very intrigued about how did powerlifting like start for you? You were so inclined academically. Where did powerlifting start for you, and how did running start for you just recently?
Uh, Powerlifting started from me. I mean, I, I love sports as in like in general, but I never got a chance to play a sport. And powerlifting started for me when I was probably 35 years of age, and usually in a standard sports career, this is considered to be pretty late, and it was probably just a matter of fact that yeah, I just came across the right people, the right coach, in the right time, uh, and so it just happened like I was working. I used to work out in a gym in Navi Mumbai, and my coach used to be a professional powerlifter, and he was a trainer in that particular gym, and he just spotted me, and he had a lot of other students who were getting coached by him, and they were playing at a professional level. And I used to find them around so much in the gym, and they were really, really inspiring in terms of how they pursued the sport, how they looked at the sport. I think that really brushed upon me, and my coach he also eventually felt that I did have the desire to go a longer way, and I was ready to put in the work. So that's what kind of probably made a difference to him, and he said that I mean let's start training together and let's see where this goes. uh, what really helped me in my journey was about being, number one, of course, as I spoke about, it was a lot of dedication, a lot of discipline that helped me in that journey. But beyond that, something which was as frivolous as creating an Instagram account and being accountable, just creating that sense of accountability. I think that really, really helped me. And also it added a element of fun, that I would work out, I would post about it. It would be something when I look back at my earlier posts, they sound so lame at this point of time. But yeah, I mean, it was a part of my journey, and I embrace it fully. So yeah, that's how I think the journey went. When it comes to running, it was a I did powerlifting till COVID hit, and then of course everything, all the gyms, everything got shut, and I was also moving cities during that point of time. Uh, and I did not really, after that, after COVID, I did not really go back to a proper gym setup after that at all. I started doing home workouts. I found another coach. I started doing home workouts, and rather than and my focus shifted from a very strong one rep max kind of a power based movement to a more endurance and a strength based and a conditioning based workout routine. I landed upon one of the best fitness coaches that India has right now. His name is Kunal Rajput. He's known as Subtle Strength on Instagram, and I found him online, and I started training with him as a part of a group workout during COVID, and I think it really kind of shifted my focus from a one stream of fitness to kind of another stream, though both of them involved have the same principles of building up your strength, endurance, and conditioning you out. So yeah, I mean, from there, the a very natural progression was to rather than just having the strength and the conditioning, probably to improve my endurance. And again, I started running because during my stint during my prior stint, uh, I really needed a lot of self thinking, a lot of I wanted to have a lot of me time and some kind of rewinding. And that's how running came into the picture. I started running just to have that me time and just to have that, just to have that sense of relaxation and stuff. But yeah, eventually I fell in love with just the idea of running. And after almost running for a year on my own and doing random things, picking up things randomly on different apps, I thought, it's time that I really start looking at it more as a sport rather than just a recreational activity. So it has just started like a month and a half back that I have started training. Uh, let's see where it goes, whether there's anything in future for it or not.
At 35, if you could start powerlifting and get a
Yeah,
silver,
yeah.
I'm sure there is no end to what you can do with running now. So, really excited to see where this goes for you. But tell me, do you apply your science, your background to any of these things? Like, when you look at fitness, are you applying basic principles or advanced principles of science to it?
When it comes to fitness, as I mean, in general, be it lifting, be it running, of course, there's a lot of biomechanics involved in it, which is very scientific. But I don't want to get into so much of technical stuff when I'm pursuing this kind of an activity. What I do usually use science is again as a tool to understand if something is happening, that why it is happening. If my body is reacting in a certain way, I would try to read up about it, that why something is happening. And some of these can be as simple things as, I mean recently when I was running, I came across I used to listen to a lot of these normal athletic, hardcore music, which would really pump my heart rate up. And suddenly I realized that, while running, this kind of was actually not really helping me too much. I was getting my heart rate really up because of this music, and it was tiring me out. So yeah, I mean, these kind of basic principles, which are almost like a lot of application of common sense. I kind of use those kind of things to make my sport a little better than where I am. Plus listening to a lot of people who are a lot more experts. But yeah, in this particular sense, I think having a mentor, having a coach really helps for you to go back, and especially the people that I train with, be it Kunal, who's with whom I do my strength and conditioning, be it Manoj, who's my current running coach. All of them are very scientifically inclined, and they really give you the basics of why something is happening, what is happening, and you can understand and then apply it. When it comes to again like application of science, like recently something which is very funny. I mean, in terms of I have been, I mean, though I'm a cosmetic scientist, but I've been extremely basic when it comes to skincare and hair care. But when I have started going out and doing a lot of running, staying a lot more outdoors than what I used to, I started realizing that, I really need to take some good care of my skin and my hair to really not kind of get into a very bad space. So yeah, I think those are the kind of applications I generally do rather than getting too technical about it.
Yeah, it's interesting that you talked about fast music pumping up kind of your
Yeah.
heart rate and kind of getting you going, but also not being a good thing because for me it's very funny when I look at my husband's playlist when he's running. He listens to Arjit Singh
Yeah.
sometimes, and I used to make fun of him. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't get
Yeah.
it. Why? How are you listening to like slow music? But he loves it, and I've always like made
Totally.
fun of it. So maybe I won't now, but
Yeah.
yeah, and one thing, like again, I want to just kind of circle back and take it back to you being a cosmetic scientist.
Yeah.
What is a cosmetic scientist like? What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So I would just give you a little background of my education by training. I mean my PhD. So in during my PhD, I was working on making an artificial skin. So this largely these kind of the if I would call it a product, they would have applications such as supposedly you have a I mean usually especially in the field of medical for patients who have a wound, probably somebody who has got a major third degree wound. A standard practice is that a surgeon would take a lot of other skin from any other part of the body and put it on the wounded side. But with these kind of advent of technologies, what happens is that rather than taking off that another chunk of wound from another part of the body and creating another secondary wound, the surgeon would pick up artificial skin from off the shelf and put it on the wounded side. So this is where the medical technology has been advancing. And also, these kind of models have a lot of application in the testing of the cosmetics and the drugs. So uh, earlier in the 2000s, there was this entire ban on testing of cosmetics on animals, and that is where these kind of models really help us understand the efficacy of a cosmetic. So so yeah, I mean that has been my background, and that is how I kind of connected to this field of cosmetics uh, because of my understanding of the biology of the skin. I understand how these active molecules penetrate, how these active molecules work, and all of that. So yeah, I mean that has been my basic. But apart from that, as a part of my job, I am more responsible for innovative product development, uh, testing them, understanding their efficacies, etc., understanding the science of how efficacious they are, how they work, communicating that to the consumer in a more consumer friendly language. Uh, Definitely there are huge amount of regulatory, safety, ethical practices that comes into development of cosmetics. So taking care of all of that, of course, with the help of a larger team. Uh, yeah, I mean that's usually the model, but at the same time, we as scientists in today's world where people are more inquisitive, people want to understand what's going into their hair, what's going into their skin, to really explain the science of products to the consumer along with our marketing teams. I think that also becomes a part of our regular job. So yeah, I mean it's a end-to-end product development. It starts from understanding the consumer insights, where is the need gap, developing the product, ensuring that they are efficacious to really taking it to the consumer. So yeah, that's the
That's
kind of journey we do every
fascinating.
day.
That sounds like really exciting. We do quite a bit of this at Nature and Thought, but not specifically for skin.
Yeah,
So it's interesting to
yeah.
understand how this process works for cosmetics. So it's really amazing. Now I come to
I totally
my
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, I see. I totally remember my conversation with you maybe a year back when we were discussing curcumin and we were discussing the scientific mechanism of action, and yeah, how natural extracts work, in a when ingested versus when they are used in a topical level. I remember having that conversation, and I think that was very, very enriching when it comes to our interactions in the past.
Yes, I mean, for us, science is fascinating. And I think if you are doing any of
Yeah,
this without applying the science, it's kind of not doing justice to these natural products. So,
right,
and for us, it's always about elevating the natural product so that it becomes, you can really harness the power, because today, sadly, we are
right,
not able to just pick, your basic kitchen ingredients and do a whole lot with it. So, yeah,
right.
so amazing. So, I now come to my most fun question, which is, if you could have dinner with three women, inspirational women from science who are dead or alive, who would they be?
Uh, there can be a multitude of women that that I really look up to, but at the same time, I think the irrespective of the fact whether they are from which domain they really come from, but I would go back and probably have dinner with three of my earlier teachers who actually had instilled this sense of science in me, and who, without having the label of becoming the bigger scientist, really the big names in the domain, have really done the bigger strides of instilling the love for science in people like me, and multiple of my other schoolmates and college mates. So I think I would probably look at them as more of my role models. Yeah,
That's amazing. It's so nice to
yeah,
always go back to, these, I would agree, like teachers who make such an impact on us and
yeah,
help us continue or pursue a certain field. So that's amazing.
right,
Kudos to
yeah.
you. Swami, anything else you would want to tell our audience that you think would, and especially to young girls, that would, or anybody, even, older women who are looking at fitness or getting into it or are not able to get into it, what would be your final words of wisdom?
Uh, I think fitness is pretty much a way of life. So it's good for us to have something which will give us. It's more than just a physical activity. It's more of a mental relaxation, of a way you really can be yourself for a certain amount of time. And so yeah, I mean that's there. But if I would have if I would want to go back a few years of my life where I was not as consistent, as disciplined in terms of pursuing my fitness, which would be that we often want to really, when it comes to especially to fitness for people like us who have very demanding corporate jobs, very demanding lives outside, very demanding lives at home, we often go for all or none kind of a law that kal se karenge, we will do go 100% all out and do everything. But yeah, I think rather than going about in taking up fitness or any other activity in that manner, if we can just go by the principle which Nike usually offers, that just do it, it's all about the effort. And so yeah, just do it, let's do it, just find out, if not a 1 hour, find out 45 minutes, find out of 30 minutes for yourself, and just do it. Like, it might not be the best workout of your life, it might be the worst workout of your life, but just get it done, somehow get it done. So I think that's a principle that I have followed very early on in my life, and it had helped me kind of develop a lot of love, more love for this game. But yeah, I think that's something that we can all look forward to.
It's very simple but extremely effective and motivational advice. So thank you so much, Swami. It was lovely
Thank you,
chatting
thank
with
you.
you, and thank you for kicking off our Women in Science series and conversation. So thank you again for being
So,
with us at
so
Nature and Thought.
thank you so much for it.